Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where we've got a fabulous show in front of us, and we've got Dennis Bosch, part two. And why we've got part two with Dennis Bosch, because he's like one of those wind-up Duracell bunnies. You just get him going. I couldn't stop him. You know, only meant to have half an hour. He took an hour, because he's got some stories to tell. So this is going to be fun. We've got some old footage, which makes it look quite good. But before we get there, did you see my team on the weekend? Did you see how they played?
I thought it wouldn't take you long to get onto Arsenal. I thought they played very well. I think Chelsea got problems, but Arsenal are now getting back into scrum. They're just 5 points off the lead again. Yeah. But it gets interesting now, James, because the league leaders have just lost De Bruyne for four weeks. And he's been their heart and lungs, but they're a good side. I think Man United, as I said last week, don't write off Man United. They're going to come bouncing back. They're a good side. They've got 12 points.
I see the Portuguese was boasting that he beat the champions, you know.
Yeah, well, he's got to find something to say now.
He beat the champions.
The special one's back. Both Man United sides. Liverpool, as I've been saying from day one, they will finish in the first two in the league. They're a great side. They put 5 past a luckless Hull, but Hull did have a player sent off.
You see Bournemouth
Bournemouth got a result against Everton.
Yeah.
And
well,
Spurs
we
kept
Jack
running.
Wilshere, that made all the difference.
But I think for me, the news of the weekend would be something that you know more about than I did. The passing of the legendary golfer.
Yeah, shame.
A shame, you know, a wonderful man. Eh?
Arnold Palmer.
Yeah.
Well, next weekend, for those of you that are interested, next week we got one of the legends of South African golf, Bobby Favey. He's coming on the show. He's got a new book, and he's going to come and talk about this book. Apparently, it's very controversial.
That's what we want.
He has a go at his brother-in-law, Gary.
Pity you can't read it before you interview him.
I don't need to read it. I'm going to read him on the show. So it will be nice to have Bobby in. Yeah. He's a great racing guy, loves racing. Mate to Tony Rivelins, well, that's a bit suspect. But
it goes back a good few years. He loves the game. It'll be good to have Bobby in, a wonderful golfer in his day.
And we'll talk about horses.
Yeah.
And it should be fun. Yeah. Just talking about the other sport, Brad Binder won the MotoGP 3 title. He's a South African 21-year-old. His folks have put their heart and soul into the boys. They're all motorcycle riders. And it's the first time a South African has ever won the championship. So he's a superb rider. He nearly won the race.
A lot of money. He makes a lot of money.
So that was the business. South African cricket looks a bit healthier with you've got Bavuma opening the batting. Good luck to him.
Golf?
Yeah, golf.
How was your man,
Rory
the Irishman?
McIlroy.
Yeah.
Oh, he made an eagle on 16, for those of you that didn't watch it. He was 3 behind, eagle on 16, birdie on 18, gets in a playoff. And then 3 times he had a chance to bury them. Chappell went in the first hole. I felt sorry for him. He's been second runner-up about 5 times.
Johnson faded away.
Johnson shot the worst round of the day, 73.
How can the guy be so inconsistent?
Because he was completely off, and that's the trouble with golf.
So James, just that begs the question. Are the Americans going to choke in the Ryder Cup starting this week? They're 6-10 favourites, or is all the emotion out of it? As you mentioned to me off air, all the emotion around Darren Clark losing his wife was the one time.
I think the Americans will win this.
I think so, because Tiger Woods has lost his 8th girlfriend.
Yeah,
so that'll make it a bit easier. The sympathy vote will be in America.
The point is that he'll probably be at the golf course now a bit of time, because he is a vice captain.
Oh,
so
yes.
I don't know if he's
a
captain. He should be a captain of vice. That's what
he's the captain of vice in their team. Well done, James. I do like that.
Well done, Tiger. The captain of vice. Okay.
Barry Hilton's
Can
back.
we move on and let's go and have a look at 3 to follow.
And they are off in the Travers. Flower Alley is the winner.
His dad, distorted humor, he's probably one of his best sons at stud.
I'll have another, wins the Derby.
I'll have another in the Preakness.
Lilacs and Lace, 48-1, upset.
He's just a big, strong, leggy horse.
Well, talk about a couple of nice 3 to follows. Unfortunately, the whole thing froze. Raymond, Spielberg, everyone froze. So we only were able to get Sunday's racing at Scottsville. So let's go and have a look at the 3 to follow from Sunday's racing at Scottsville. We start off with, we had a couple that we can pick up here. Race 1, Tropical Blow. You know a bit about this filly, Dynasty filly. That you train, and she ran a very good race. Let's go pick her up at the start.
Yeah, I think this is the first Dynasty filly I've trained, bought for me by James Bester, recognised internationally as a great bloodstock agent, and he bought it for our New Zealand friends, Trelawney Stud, the Taylors, and this is a very good run. You can see it 3 off the right. I thought it was a very competitive race, and she shows a sparkling debut. She's going to settle in, as you can see now, going 2 off the right on the right-hand side of the white face.
White place, yeah.
The winner is 2 off the left, James, and that looked the horse to beat, Accidental Tourist. Again, I think it's a gimme the green light, so you know they're absolutely flying. And this was a very competitive field, because I know there was money for a few horses: Hot Mumbo, Delectable Desire. There was some really nice bunch. So
yeah, I think the form will work out of this race, and I'm not sure that the going's as good in the middle as it is on the inside. They seem to have got away, those horses on the inside. Accidental Tourist now hits the front. It was the money horse, and yours is 2 off the right, and just starting to get a push from De Guava.
Yeah.
He's riding it out, and now gives it the left-handed stick. She still doesn't really know what's going on, and here she still thinks that she's not going to run in the first 4.
Yeah.
But runs on really
very
well.
Good debut, beautifully bred horse, and Rupert Plursch bred this horse.
Rupert
Our
Plursch.
friend, the German Rupert Plursch. It's very close to second, but she gets her head down, and I'm absolutely chuffed, and good one to follow, as you say.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on from this, and we're going to go and have a look at the second race, and Dennis Dreyer stepped out at Tiger Ridge. Bred by Lammerskral. You'd think Tiger Ridge would have been bred by Prince Maritzfontein or Wilgerbos-Drift, but this one was bred by Lammerskral out of a Western Winter mare and owned by the Johnsons. Looks like this could be quite a nice horse. He has been gelded, but he looks like he needs a bit further. Let's go and pick him up at the start.
Yeah, he's drawn towards the inside, and all the talk was Cabinda. It looked the horse to beat. Keegan de Miller riding for Michael Roberts. And Cabinda runs a very good race, but the horse that wins it is from the Mark Dixon stable, Sent to the Tiger, with Brandon Arena. Now, there's a youngster who's riding brilliantly as Brandon Arena, but the horse that runs third, Distant Places on the white, sort of 5 off the inside, or 4 off the inside, showing very good speed. Cabinda, your 7 to 10 favourites on his outside with the noseband, who goes on, and your eventual winner is in the green up the middle, probably leading them now with the white face.
Yeah, that's Graham Hawkins' colours.
That's
and,
right.
All the boys, Larson, Samuelson's
Big
coming.
Trevor Faree is in there.
Trevor Faree, nice for Mark Dixon. He's been running a lot of places, and nice for the team to win with this one. And it was also Tiger Ridge, so it just shows you there's 2 Tiger Ridges in the first 3, but you can pick up in the pink cap now about 3 off the left-hand side, coming under a left-handed ride. The Tiger Ridge of Dennis Dryer's running on well under Sean Veal.
Yeah, runs a very good race, as does our horse Bling Swing, who runs 4th debut as well. But the front 2 has been a good race, and the horse to follow, we think, is the Tiger Ridge, who shows good speed and runs 3rd. That's Distant Place in the pink cap, running 3rd there.
Right, we're going to move on and have a look at the 5th race over 1,600 metres, maiden plate for fillies and mares. Now, this has had a run, Roy's Hollyhock, but there's a bit of a story to this filly. She's by Huson, Australian bred, and Roy Mudley owns her. Let's go and pick her up in the early part of the race. She's got a big white face, and she's got the yellow cap in the Roy Mudley colours.
Yeah, she's got the yellow cap. This is a beautiful filly. The reason I say so is because I bought her in Australia. I bought her for Roy. She wasn't expensive, but beautiful, and Huson's flying. It's about 15,000 a service, Huson, over in Australia. And this horse is getting settled. Only its second run. It's learning how to race. It comes from a long way back to run second to Lajatanilla, who's in the black cap, probably in the front at the moment, until Dundum goes past it.
Yeah, she wins a good race, Lajatanilla. We picked her up as one to follow, and she certainly looks like she's a filly that's going to go on. But you look at Roy's Hollyhock, she's towards the back, yellow cap, and it's amazing that this whole relationship that we have with Australia, you know, you say that you've got horses from New Zealand owners racing here, you've got horses for Steve Davis, and
Vin Cox, Barry Bowditch, Grant Burns.
All these guys have got horses here because of your involvement, and you know, we salute you for that, because that's what you need. Yeah. There's not many people that are racing horses in Australia from South Africa, but there are a lot of guys supporting our industry here.
That's right.
And that's why we support them. Look at the white face of it. Roy's Hollyhock. It's about four off the right-hand side of your screen. And yours has gone for the doctor
Yeah,
on
this
his
Roy's
bicycle.
Hollyhock quickens up very nicely, and it's a horse, and you must follow this horse. It's only a second start. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's very green. She runs on very nicely for second because the bird has flown in front, and we think highly of this horse that Marsh and Bryn own, Legendary. But have a look at the runner-up for Roy Moodley. I think this horse, once even further, wins soon.
Interesting, there was a runner in the race at Kutlawano's Love, which is the favourite. Now, these guys...
Did you hear? Dees and Wes trying to pronounce it straight.
Kutlawano's Love. But these guys had a winner on Friday night, and I'm sorry, we would love to have put it up. Flew down from Joburg. Dennis Bosch trains for them.
Ladima's Princess or something like that.
Yeah, Ladima's Princess, and it's fantastic for them. They're
the
guys who
was
love
good.
racing. I met them on Saturday morning, and just nice to see new faces in racing, owning horses and having such fun. And well done to Dennis, who we're going to be talking to later on. But let's go and have a look at the Cape Fillies Guineas. That's 2015. That's in our blast from the past.
Gates are open, soft falling rain, pulling clear. Soft falling rains won the SA Nursery by 3.
Racing in the 2000 Guineas. Gates fly and they're racing in the Godolphin Mile.
They're off and racing.
Weight didn't matter. Class tells, soft falling rain, much too good. Soft falling rain, an impressive Guineas winner. Soft falling rain is drawing clear.
He's made it 7 out of 7 by winning here today.
But it's soft falling rain who is powering away. We'll see out the mile in style. A high-class performer wins the Nay of Joel Stakes.
They racing in the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas to a perfect beginning. Our Destiny began quickly. A Time to Dream is pushing forward. Miss Marker's also going to race up handy, and Ocean Swell is also up there in the thick of things. Next we got Well in Flight, being followed by Noor, the black body, the red cap, and that one settling to race about 7-8 lengths off that leader. Half back on the inside comes Taffety Tart, who's showing up on the inside of Silver Mountain in the yellow, and she's 10 lengths off that early leader. A length and a half behind that we got Flying Ice. It looks like there's a riderless horse between runners. Next it's Anglet, and racing at the end of the line we got Bella, and they stretched out as they head towards the middle of the bend with just over 800 metres left to go. In front it's Ocean Swell that sets the pace and clears off by 3. Racing in second we got Miss Marker, Time to Dream. Then comes Well in Flight, being followed by Our Destiny and Noor. Next it's Taffety Tart. Behind that we got Silver Mountain, being followed towards the inside by Flying Ice, and then comes Anglet, and it was Valediction who lost the rider midway round the turn. They straighten up in the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas, head towards the 400. They're racing middle outside, stand side of the track. Ocean Swell between runners. Silver Mountain is being let loose. Down the inside it's Our Destiny, then comes Taffety Tart. It's Silver Mountain that gets driven into the lead, into the final 200, and she now kicks for home into the closing stages. Ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing a 5-star performance by Silver Mountain as she gears down to an easy victory. Silver Mountain from Our Destiny. Taffety Tart 10.
Well, there you go. Silver Mountain absolutely doddled 2015 Cape Fillies Guineas, and interesting Bella turning into the straight stone last.
Tailed off, didn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's turned out to be a really good filly, Bella.
Yeah, well, she'd only, I think it was only her second or third run. She really was still very green, but she looks like the one that came out of this race with best credentials. But we're going to take a break and we'll be back.
11. Winter is Coming is now pulled out to the centre of the track and is now going to ask the question towards the outside, Venice in May. But Winter is Coming now comes gliding into the lead past the 200-metre marker. And Winter is Coming is well in command. And it's all safe here. Winter is Coming 3 or 4 lengths. Matter of what's going to run second. Venice in May is closing into GoldCircleRacing, but Winter is Coming won it by 7 or 8. Venice in May second, GoldCircleRacing, then Master Runner.
Well, Winter's Coming looked like the standout of the weekend for the professional punter. You could have got even money on Interbet. It ended up starting 4 to 10 and won like a 4 to 10 shot. Interestingly enough about this horse's pedigree, he's out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare bred by Northfield stud, Robin Brusser stud. And quite interesting, there's always that sort of synergy. And Western Winter, my goodness, he was a great stud.
This horse, Frank had told me early on, he's a top horse, and he'd been beaten with greenness and dumbness. He was beaten by a decent horse last time. The third horse was well back. So he looked the plum and won very well.
Yeah, he's a very nice horse, and he certainly looked like he was worth having a bet on. But that is pedigree coming through, but it took a long time for him to find his feet. We're going to move on and see what we've got in current affairs.
Yes! If you love soccer and you play the tote, you won't believe what Interbet has to offer you, or the excitement of tote betting on your computer or your cell phone. It's simple. Choose your teams and your bets, work out what your combinations will cost, see how big the pool is, and place your bets. You can even track your bet live as it happens and get updates on your progress. It's all the fun of the tote on your phone. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now at www.interbet.co.za and you could be a winner.
Right, well, the BSA Graduate of the Week is Francia. She's a 200,000 Rand buy from the 2014 National Yearling Sale, picked up her second feature race win of her career when she triumphed in the listed Settlers Trophy at Durbanville. She's bred by Horace Del Carmo. Now, for those of you who don't know, that's Paulo Del Carmo, who's a real fan of racing.
Loves his
racing, and very, very good with pedigrees. I mean, outstanding with pedigrees. He's bred a number of good horses. Owned by Jack and Nancy Minchell, Francia made a 1-2 for Snake when they defeated stablemate and fellow Bloodstock South Africa graduate Captain Splendid. Daughter of former Horse of the Year Dynasty, Francia, she'd already won the listed Oaks as either a keen mare venturesome. But it shows you Paulo de Carmo finds these mares, and he ends up mating them correctly and producing good horses.
He loves his racing.
He's a guy that knows what's going on. Anyway, that's the Graduate of the Week. We've got lots of interesting news for you, and where we're going to start?
We're going to start with the international races. As we say, no stakes races around the province again. It's just a little lull between the seasons. But there were 3 interesting races that came out of Newmarket this week. One was a Group 2, and the reason we're showing you the Group 2 at Newmarket, the Juddmonte Stakes, is because Marcus Eustace silks from this race. He owns a horse that runs in the race at James. It's good to see horses of his trying to go and win the big ones overseas internationally. He loves the game, Marcus, and he's got a runner there. And then we've got the 2 Group 1s, which is interesting racing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go and pick them up at the 600 metres in the Juddmonte Royal Lodge Stakes. You'll see him on the left-hand side, Douglas MacArthur. He looks like he might get a blow in and then it just doesn't quicken the last bit, but he's quite a nice horse.
From the line, here is Best of Days nearest to us with a white cap is Bay of Poets, Sea Fox between those, Monteterre running on. It's a wide open race at the furlong pole. The Anvil is finishing off as well, but now Best of Days and James Doyle have got the lead. Sea Fox in second position. The Anvil is still closing. They come to the line. Best of Days just to the Anvil, then Sea Fox and Arcada.
Yeah, best today is Hugo Palmer and our friend Mr. Doyle, James Doyle, your pilot. Holding on from the stablemate. Anvil runs a very good race, but not beaten far, Marcus's horse.
No, not beaten far at all. He's got
Once
a
further.
reputation, this horse. He costs quite a lot of money, and he's got a reputation, so let's hope that he goes and does it. We then move on and have a look at the 2 Group 1s run at Newmarket. And it's interesting why we're showing you this is to give you a little taste of what's coming up on the weekend, because we've got on the weekend the Shively Park Stakes. Group 1 on the 1st of October. Not only have we got the Shively Park Stakes, we've got the Arc weekend.
Sunday.
And the Shively Park Stakes sees our filly stepping out, not the Shively Park.
No, Shively Park was run this week,
It's
James.
run this week already. It's not the Shively Park. We've got a smart call in the Sun Chariot Stakes.
it,
My
the Sun
apologies.
Chariot.
The Sun Chariot Stakes this weekend. We're going to see the Shively Park later on, but let's go and look at that now, the Shively Park Stakes.
And Frank is let her go in front. Lady Aurelia moves on by 4 or 5 and under restraints. She's clear. Roly-Poly in second position, ridden along by Ryan. Queen Kindly just niggled at by Jamie Spencer, the blue and white. Brave Anna, light blue, making progress for Shamie Heffernan. They head down to the dip now, and they're closing on up. Lady Aurelia in front. Now there's going to be a challenge from Roly-Poly, a length and a half behind in second place. Brave Anna's behind this in third, and then Queen Kindly at the furlong pole. Lady Aurelia having to find something, and she is doing so. But Brave Anna, the light blue jacket nearest to us, is going to run her down, and Roly-Poly between them. It's the Aidan O'Brien pair. It's on the nod. Roly-Poly and Brave Anna. They beat Lady Aurelia by a couple of lengths, and Queen Kindly.
Well, there we go. Aidan O'Brien, coming through to be too good for Wesley Ward's horse. And you were saying to me, James, that they'd stated that the Tory thinks it's the quickest horse he's ridden.
Well, she was absolutely cantering, and the news out of the stable is that she actually bled. They scoped her after the race, and she bled. So she's going to have a bit of a break, but I think they were devastated that she got beaten. And you look at her, she's going through the 2, she looked like she's going to walk it, there's going to be no race. But the 2 Warfront fillies from Aidan O'Brien, I think the wrong one won. Jamie Heffernan, Brave Anna, I think they thought Roly-Poly was the better. The betting suggested was the better of the 2. And certainly the Shively Park Stakes is always a great pointer to what's going to go on later in the year. But let's go and have a look at the Middle Park Stakes. This is for the 2-year-olds. 6 furlongs they go. And this was a triumph for Mark Johnson. Let's go and have a look at this one.
They head down to the dip, and still the last line. Here's Blue Point now out to throw out his challenge, and Mermas is furthest from us. Behind those is Medicine Jack. The last line is bravely running on strongly here. The last line tackled by Blue Point. At the moment he's fending off the challenge. The last line, and Joe Fanning, what a brave run. Beat them all off. Blue Point second, Mermas in third. Intelligence.
Well, there we go, my mate Mark Johnson. Well done to him. And Fanning, first Group 1 for him. And Mark Johnson's always been a top trainer. I see Charlie Appleby, who trained the runner-up, said, I'm very pleased with the horse. He ran well, and they're going to leave him alone for a few months as well.
Yeah, interesting by Choisier out of a Brief Truce mare. So that's proper Australian pedigree this has got.
Yeah.
And he was bred in Ireland, and he's obviously quite a good horse, but Choisier is an internationally renowned
International stallion.
Top
Always there. So well done to Mark, and them 25-1, both Group 1s, James.
Yeah. Talking about other Group 1s around the world, well, the champion filly in America, who's won, I think, 7 now Group 1s in a row, Songbird. She won the Cotillon by 5 3/4 lengths. She absolutely doddled it. We're now coming to the big racing, getting ready for the Breeders' Cup. They're all starting to throw their names into the hat for the Breeders' Cup. And this filly, she's going to be a hard nut to crack in the
Songbird, she's brilliant, James.
She's absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
They can't get near her, and as you say, it's all building up. We have got big racing coming up. We have said earlier, Anthony Delpesh flies out. Pierre Stratham flies out tonight to ride Harry's son on Sunday on Arc Day in the Prix de la Forêt over 14. So there's good South African interest, James.
Yeah, we're just talking about the Weld Stakes. Dermot Weld's won it for the 6th time. It's named after his father and mother, Charlie and Margaret Weld. Okay. And Dermot Weld came here in about 1972, I think it was. to ride in the hurdle race.
That's
he was
right.
a champion hurdle jockey. He trained Illyria by Teofilio to win the World Stakes. He's won it 6 times now, but
Jeez.
John Ox has won it 7 times. So he's trying to break John Ox's record, but nice to see Dermot still training. He's a fantastic trainer. Talking about Irish trainers, a couple of other bits of news. Tommy Stack retired.
Yeah.
And any of you who watched Red Rum win the Grand National in 1997, Tommy Stack rode it. And he then trained, among others, my boy Charlie.
They were a very good stallion in Australia today.
Yeah, he won the Prix Mornay.
Yeah, so Tommy's going to hang up his hat.
Yeah, and he's handed over to his son, Fozzie.
Okay.
Yeah, so not such good news for Cole Murphy, who's one of the top trainers in Ireland, jump trainer, who's won at the Cheltenham Festival, number of feature races. Big Zeb was one of the horses he trained. I think it won one of those big Sun Alliance or one of those races. And he's retired. And interesting, I think this is going to be a trend that's going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years, is a lot of little trainers are going to call it a day, because it's becoming more and more difficult to find patrons, big patrons, to support these yards. And he just said financially it's not viable. He cannot keep playing.
He's a tough game.
Yeah, he's a financial man. He's got a financial degree, and he just said it wasn't viable to keep putting the money in. And Cole Murphy was a man that you could really respect. And I think that this is going to happen in South Africa a lot too. I think it's here a lot of little guys going out the business the next couple of years, which is very sad.
Yeah, absolutely. I do know a lot of them under the cosh. It's a very tough game financially. Training.
Yeah. As far as the rest is concerned, as we say, the Arc on Sunday, so we're looking forward to seeing Harry run, and there's going to be postponed is absolutely in the pinker condition for the Arc.
Arc's always a great race.
Hazard. It's going to
James, you know what's unique is that fillies always seem to win it.
Yeah.
I think they had 5 years in a row, and then Frankie won it. And then you had to go back sort of 6 years, you know.
She won it a couple of years.
Dane Dream, you know.
Dahlia was one of the great
that's going
winners,
back, but I'm just saying the fillies, lately the fillies have been so strong. But I think Postponed could be one of the best horses in the world now.
Yeah, and a feel-good story just before we wrap up. The oldest thoroughbred in North America, he'd passed on at the age of 38 years old. He was owned by a woman called Gail Earl. She owned him for 28 years. She owned this horse.
She got him as a 10-year-old.
She got him as a 10-year-old. He was a moderate racehorse. He
lived it out like a stallion.
Well, he raced at Parks and a couple of those real low-down tracks in America. And he ended up being a show hunter for this woman. And she said she just gave him the life that he deserved.
Oh, they all deserve it, horses.
Thoroughbreds, that's what we like to hear, because we're all trying to make sure that they go to good homes. And there's nothing nicer than when you see them go to a great home.
That's right.
So you've got a big week ahead of you.
Yeah,
we wish
I'll be at the Arc.
Well for the Arc. We hope that it all falls into place. And
it's obviously a very tough race. You know, it's
you go there and meet them on their own terms. Not easy. But you got Striker.
We got Striker going there. The thing is, the beauty is, it's tough race, but it's wonderful, James, to be able to go out and race at these venues with a horse of your own. You know, we've been through Dubai with him. Now we're going to France. You know, you're saddled. He was trained and spelled in Spain. And for those of you who don't know that, James, he won't run in Roy Moodley's colours. He's going to run in Martha Bulro's colours, because when you trained in Spain, the Roy's cross that he puts on looks too much like a swastika in Spain. They won't allow that. They won't allow that. Yeah. So it's got to be, and it's now going to be coming out of Spain, to run in Martha Bulro's red, white and black colours.
Okay, so just
don't look for Roy's colours.
No, don't look for Roy's
colours.
Don't look for
Roy's colours. Roy's involved in everything.
Is Roy going to be there?
He hasn't decided. Him and Gordon haven't decided. Martha's going. The Staines are going. Phil Giorgio's going. So we'll have to wait and see.
Something not to be missed, you know.
There you go.
Win, lose or draw, you go there and go
Correct.
and have them. And if you've never been to the Arc, it is one of those races you've got to have on your bucket list if you're a racing person.
Yeah.
We're going to call it a day, and all the best to you. You have a great weekend's racing, but we're going to go and see Dennis Bosch, Part 2. Well, this job of mine as a presenter is sometimes filled with trepidation and difficulty. And this interview that we're going to do now is one of those that's going to be very difficult. Because if you've been on the racetrack in KwaZulu-Natal in the last 45 years or 50 years, you will have come across a fellow called Dennis Bosch. He might have ridden a horse for you, he might have trained a horse for you, but he certainly will have given you some hilarious one-liners and some things to think about. Then, obviously, you're a Clearwood boy, and yes. Clearwood now is your home. You got into the setup, you had everything going for you. Now they're going to tell you you've got to move to Summerveld, and I know you boys were not happy about that.
James, we moved twice, if you remember. Once for 6 years, and I think trainers, it's my opinion, I think trainers moan at things that are irrelevant or you can't change. Change the things you can change, you know, what we're capable of changing. The people of high power decided that Clearwood has to go. Wrong move for me. It was my wrong move. I'm close to home, close to town, close to the airports, close to everything. It suited me. But when they closed it, I knew that this wasn't coming back for the second time. So I accepted it. And Summerveld in its own right has trained more July winners, more Gold Cup winners.
It's a good training centre.
Absolutely. So, and from my place, which is from the university, James, everybody says, gee, but you got to travel from Durban, you got to do this. They complain about stupid things. Some people take 2 hours or an hour to get to work. I take 20 minutes. From my house to the pavilion, 7 minutes. From the pavilion to the toll road, 6 minutes. So I split it up and I talk to Fudge, you know. And then from there, it's another 6 minutes to the track. So we're talking 7 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes, and I arrive at my work. And by the time we're leaving, James, there's hardly no traffic. The garage people all know me. They're great friends of mine when I fill up the African guys there. And I always give them a donation or a winner or whatever. So when I drive in, I get VIP treatment. So it's a cruising trip. I love it. Love it.
Okay, now things have started turning around for you. You find yourself a couple of good patrons now, modern day patrons.
Yes.
Costa, obviously.
It's like a woman. Yeah. I hope he's that. Yeah, Costa, I met him through Paulie, you know. Paul's a great friend of mine.
Yeah, Paul Peter.
Yeah, and Paul introduced me because Costa was going to come down to Durban, and from there, our relationship, Costa and myself are more of friends, you know, and he has horses in Durban, so he has them with me, you know.
Okay, then you got the partnership, Terry Riley and Sherwin Jenner. They've been with you for quite a long time.
Yeah, they're great supporters, you know. Terry always, you know, Terry loves.
How did you know Terry? How did you get to know him?
You know, one day at Clearwood, I think it was, he had some horses and he just approached me, and you know, it just snowballed from there. I don't even recall exactly how we got to meet, but he brought out a horse. I don't even know what it was. I don't even know what his first horse was. That's how long it's been. Fighting or not fighting, you know, with owners. But a great guy, him and Sherman. You've been with Sherman.
Yeah.
They can party.
Yeah, they seem to enjoy themselves.
Yes, they do.
And then obviously, you know, Alesh Schneider, you've done very well for him. And he's like the sort of diamond in Durban.
Well, you know, Alesh is also people, Lauren named a horse after him. He bought a horse and didn't have a name, and she came up with 3 names, and one of them was exclusively trendy, you know, and I think that spells what he is, you know. But Alesh is a very, if people read between the lines, he's a very giving, kind person. He likes charities, and but he also likes his horses. I knew his dad. Before.
Oh, did you?
Yes. When I was riding, his dad is a pastor. I didn't know at the time when I was riding because he used to gamble. I don't think he was a pastor then. I don't know how long. But he used to have a tickle on 1 or 2 of the horses we used to ride. And I didn't even know it was Alesh's until I met his dad in the box. What are you doing here? It's Alesh's dad. Great family. Lovely people. Alesh's wife's a honey. Really nice lady.
And you've done very well for them.
Yeah, you know, James, I've been fortunate, you know, that he buys a nice type of horse, and you know he likes to have a tickle every now and again. So you got to try and get it right. And I must say, he doesn't really squeal when you're on second. He's just as good a loser as he is a winner, and you know that at the casino.
That's the best trait that you can find in a man, isn't it? You know, a man that can lose with grace and win with humility. That's very much, I think, Alesh fits into that bracket.
Yes.
And then obviously Mario Ferreira, of late, you've started getting horses from him.
I've been with Mario for a while now. I didn't jump on his back and phone him like some trainers do and want to pull horses from him.
How did you know him?
Danny Gonzalez. When he packed up at Clearwood, there were a couple of horses there, and I became friends with him. I helped him. You know, people were snubbing him a bit there, and I'm not going to go there, but a nice guy, you know, and he just didn't want to. He just didn't want to. It was getting to him. He didn't like it. He loves horses, and he just didn't want to be around some of the people. So he said to me, would I come and have a look? So Louis took some and I took some, and it just happened to be Vibration was in there and a couple of nice ones. Lucky Louis left the good ones and he took the bad ones. That's how it works. Yeah, and I was fortunate, and I met Mario, who's jumped into the game very big, very quickly, and we've now tried to explain to him, you know, this game doesn't matter how much money you got, you can't just go and buy them. You got to be clever, be a horseman, and I said to Des, I don't talk much to Mario because like disrespects Des, you know, in the sense that he's
Des
the
is
agent.
the manager, isn't he?
Yeah, and I talk to Mario when I have to. We were up at the farm, and he's a very nice man. But I think Des needs a recognition to say, well, I'm the manager, and you need to talk to me first. And I said to Des, as long as the playing fields are level, you know, you can't favour one and not the other. You know, try and put it all in the same path. And fortunately enough, I got Vibration back, so we're hoping to see what he can do. Because he didn't do all that great in Joburg, did he?
No. Well, the point is that, you know, you get these horses and you never know how they turn out. You've now been in racing most of your life. Yes. Certainly from when you became an adolescent, and you must have been a naughty little bugger in those days.
Yep.
But you understand racing, and what is there about racing, certainly maybe in KwaZulu-Natal, that you'd like to see changed or improved? Is there anything that you'd like to...
Well, Joe, I've been fortunate, hey? You know, we talk at the races, we have a laugh, and I think that's what's lacking in racing. I think when you look at it, it's too quiet. You remember the characters, your dad, Henry Eatwell, the people who dressed up and smoked cigars and walked in the parade. I mean, if you took away the workers at races and the trainers and the assistant trainers, there'd be nobody. And with all due respect, most of the Indians are here. Natal is Indians. We hardly see white, spot the white, you know. And the youth, we were talking, the youth, why the restaurant we go sit at the same food all the time. I mean, we got a roast, you could name it, change it, or let somebody rent it out and put Kentucky or do something, change something and get the youth in, you know.
Is it that easy, Den? Are the youth interested in these type of recreational facilities today?
James, if they aren't, where are we going to go? Because in no time, look at us. I'm 60, and I felt like a baby the other day. If we don't get them in, where's the new youth going to come in? They're forming syndicates, make racing enjoyable. How? I don't know. I haven't really looked at it. But if you go to the casino, they give you prizes, they give you a car. I'm not saying that we have to do that. Give some incentive. Even sometimes the trainers don't want to go racing. They feel so miserable, isn't it so? Sometimes I think, why am I going racing? Yeah, I think you got to. I don't think if you don't get the youth James, who is going to come in? And as well, I've got an African man who's Mr. Macabre, whose horses ran second yesterday. I mean, this is amazing, man. Amazing. He pays on time. He never squeals. And I think we got to target, you know, all races. You know, how many African gentlemen have you seen standing in the parade ring, James?
Well, that's the thing. There's a market out there that racing's got to target.
Yes.
But you've got to have a mechanism and a machinery in place to be able to do that. Can't do that just hoping. It's got to be done, and it's got to be done by a proper task force. The interesting thing was, I watched the other day, and you can comment on this, because you say nice suits, cigars, this and that, and the other, which is how we were brought up and how I think that you should dress for the races. I saw Chad Leclerc arrive for the races the other day in a pair of sneakers, and obviously they're Nike top of the range, with anklet socks, a pair of shorts on, and a t-shirt, okay, a pretty nice t-shirt.
Yes.
Now, that is the way the youth dresses today, but we have a dress code, and I looked there, and there's the complete opposite. You've got Benji Johnson in a beautiful huntsman suit with a pocket chief, beautiful tie, matching lob shoes, the epitome of what we knew as a gentleman. And there you have an Olympic gold medalist, okay, who comes to the races, and he knows that it's a smart affair, and he's smart, the way he's dressed. How do we get around that?
Jake, I knew Chad Leclerc's dad as a youngster. But
Bert dresses like Chad now.
Well, we grew up together. We definitely grew up together. He knew a guy called Gaitan Ramus, so I don't even want to go there. Chad was a little boy there at the moment. I think rules are rules. Was Chad right to do that? In my opinion, no. Whether he's a gold medalist, whether he's anything else, and a smart kid, isn't he?
But he's the youth of today. That's what they dress.
James,
if you go around the shopping
if you
centre,
own a racehorse, that's around a shop. I think if you own a racehorse and you're a celebrity of his integrity, and he's a smart kid, and we have rules. Are you going to change it for a certain person? You're going to get people that are going to. We've had people turned away at the. James, I'll tell you a story. Do you ever remember a guy called Alan Abrams? Big fat man.
Yeah.
Owned a big clothing company called Rifle Clothing. One day he walked in the parade ring, and I've been to the best wedding he ever had. It was an amazing wedding, this man. And he was Jewish and I'm German. And he used to always say to me, "You're the spy along all of us here." And we walked into the parade ring, and he had this floral shirt. Now, he was a huge man, huge. This floral shirt, these Bermuda pants, and these dynamic shoes. And he stood in the parade ring. It was the time just of Jock Sproul. And somebody walked up to him and said to him, "Excuse me, sir, this code of dress," he had 18 horses, well, shares in them. Oil Queen, he was with Roy Meeker. And this man walked up, one of the staff officers, and said to him, didn't know who he was, and Mr. Abrams used to swear, but his language wasn't too clever, and he was the most gentlest, loveliest man, loved him to death. And this man said to him, "Excuse me, sir, you can't dress like this." And this was one of the hierarchies at the top. And I don't want to mention his name, he's still around. And he turned around and he said to him, You own 1% of one horse at David's, 1%, 1%. I own 18 virtually outright. You're telling me what to dress. Get away here. So he was, and when he left, I said to him, "Hey, Mr. Abrams, you can't come in with short pants, big Bermudas," and he weighed like 700 kilos, this flower power shirt. But he didn't take nonsense. But the dress code was much better. I think Chad was out of line.
Well, that is what I wanted to ask you, because you've got an opinion on everything.
Yes.
As far as the horses are concerned, are the horses any better or any worse today than they were in those days? Because you've mentioned some horses who I think were far superior to anything that we race today.
James, I was fortunate in 1969, end of 1969, 70, to be associated with Hartford Stud. That was the Ellises, G-A-N-A-L Ellises, as they were high up in the... And the old man, not Graham, his father, he used to take me up to the farm and Basil Lewis was their jockey, and nice jockeys. And he used to take me into the paddocks and he used to say, which horse do you like here? And in there was Master Polly, Sentinel, Inrap, Claret Cup, Joker, Pelt. There were so many good horses in there. He'd say, pick one, Angolaise. And he'd pick one, and they were furry, they were rough, they were fat, they were everything. And he would go like that and say, you see that? I'll say, that's a champion. And I would think, well, okay, I want to see how good this old man was. He was sitting in a wheelchair. And James, I never, ever, he never told me one horse that never, ever became a really top horse. You know, talking about magician, you're talking a top horse in those days. 7-time winner used to come second string. Claret Cup, Inwrapped. They had machines in those days. I'm not saying the horses aren't good, but the horses are soft, James. They, you know, these horses were hardy. They were thrown on that farm. They used to come in Angolaise. He was a top horse. Sargasso, Master Polly, Pelt. Pelt ran second to Sun Monarch. James, I think she was 12 hands. She was tiny, tiny little black filly. She ran second, and Sun Monarch could run a bit, you know. He was quite a good horse. Angolaise was he had that stud throughout, champion.
But the point being is that if you like an owner breeder like the Aga Khan is overseas and some of these big places, and you don't breed for the sales, you can have them like that.
Yes.
You know, and that's what they were. They were owner breeders. Today it's so commercial.
James, I think what happens is we go into the sales ring, and this is what happens to me, and I'm fortunate enough to buy younger horses. I mean, the young horses that are not favorably bred. Sly, Lavender
Sly was
Bank,
a big horse, wasn't he?
17 hands.
Yeah. You like big horses?
James, I liked him for one reason. He was the most ugliest horse that you ever see. Why I liked him, it's just, that's how I bought Cape Saffron, you know. Monte Cristo was a tiny horse. Noble Air was a tiny horse. Flight Alert, his brother, was with Tony Rivlin, won one race. Useless. I said to his trigger, I just love him. He was just plain, simple, but there was something that caught your eye. Cutting edge. When he was there, I never looked at him. And as I came around the corner, he stood there and I said, what the hell is this? And I opened up, he said, AP Answer, who wants one of those? And he just kept looking at him, and Costa and Alesh were standing there. And I went to Costa and said, please buy me this horse, man. You go for 50 grand. Buy him. And you know, Costa wants him for 20 grand.
Yeah.
And he said, look at the pedigree. He's not good. I said, Costa, look at his head. He's got these jars on him. This horse has to run. Has to run. And he said no. And then Alesh was standing next to him. I said, Alesh, buy me this horse, please. Alesh was saying, what do you want to buy? AP Answer and this and that. And I said, okay, well, you're not buying him. I'll buy him. So I went up to 50 grand and he went 60 grand. I think it was Wendy Whited. And then 70 grand. I thought, no, I'm out of here. And I was disappointed. And he went 80 grand. And next minute the lady came and gave me the book. And I said, hey, you made a mistake. I never put my hand up. I'm not paying 80 grand. And next minute Alesh and Costa said, take him.
So they bought him for you.
And I took him out.
When he won a $1 million race or something ridiculous.
Yeah. And I told Alesh he would. And he just got beat first time out, then he got his money back second.
Never cop a horse on a stallion, because
James
you never know that.
every stallion.
Every stallion I've ever known has produced one that can run. You know?
Absolutely. And this is smart looking horse, James. He's got a lovely head. I cut him now and I put him away. I think he's going to come back. He's earned nearly 8 or 900,000.
Beautiful.
And you know, if we have to sell him one day to Mauritius, we'll get a few rand.
Yeah. So things are looking bright for you.
Haven't switched on the light yet. Yeah, James. It's. I'm happy the way. I'm very pleased how the last season's gone. I've been blessed, James.
Yeah.
I've been very blessed.
Well, you deserve it, then, and thank you so much for coming in to us and chatting to us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you,
We could
James.
have gone on for another 2 shows.
Thanks, James.
And many winners, and long may your success continue on the tracks here, because Dennis Bosch is one of those guys who is an absolute breath of fresh air at the races. And those of you who've got a horse with him, lucky enough to have a horse with him, you have a lot of fun, and that's what it's all about. That's how racing should be. Been a great interview. We've enjoyed doing it. Until next time, from me and Winning Ways, have a good week's racing.
Your world of winners is now online at www.teletrack.com. Simply subscribe to log into your account from any mobile device in South Africa and access a wide variety of content from our membership package options. Listen in via a live audio stream, catch live racing locally and internationally, or view a wide variety of Teletrack magazine shows to stay informed and updated on the go at any time. It's never been easier. Go to teletrack.com now.